Hey, kid! Come here. Want to hear something? Come closer. Come closer! A little birdie of mine tells me that a new epic confrontation event is happening for Anakin Skywalker. Ladies and gentlemen, it's coming to the end for August, which means we're heading into September. We got a new login award character, a lot of stuff we've learned, a lot of stuff that's happened. That's going to be our tea leaves to read for what the future of Galaxy of Heroes is looking like. And I'm thinking September, because it's the close of this current fiscal quarter, we're probably bound to see something big, especially since the developers said that they're almost done working on an epic confrontation. And I'm thinking it's going to be involving Anakin Skywalker. You heard me right. We have a lot to talk about today. A lot of things, facts, speculation that we have to kind of combine, and just kind of predicting the future that a normal person would in Galaxy Heroes. And kind of to start our conversation, let's hop over to the forums where the other day they have confirmed that the Clone Sergeant Phase 1 is going to be our login character for this upcoming September. And that could be a couple things. As we know, the login reward generally, I'd say about 95% of the time, is indication of what is going to be happening in that particular month. So right here, we have something that's going to start triggering the conversation. And I'm not going to say this is going to be legitimate because I don't know where it came from. I know there are legitimate people in the community that have an ear in Capital Games. That's how we found out about C-3PO early, the Millennium Falcon, Darth Revan, the General Grievous rework way in advance because someone spilled the beans. Not sure if this is going to be from the same source or another person who has access to Capital Games, but it's very logical. It's a very logical thing, and that's why I want to bring it up, because this is going to be helping us move forward in this conversation, because I'm trying to help you guys. For those that are trying to prepare for the future, I want to try to lead you down a path that's one, logical, and secondly, at least you'll be getting something good in case that logical path doesn't work out. That's legitimate speculation. Let's just leave it at that for right now. And if we hop over to the game for a moment, what exactly could this be? Because the other day we got the 501st tag, we got the 501st rework, and the first thing that came to everyone's mind, where is Anakin Skywalker's 501st tag? Because he was the general of the 501st Legion. And this is where we're going to start basing around our conversation. The Clone Sergeant being a login award, it could mean several things. Clone Sergeant could be getting a rework because, as they said, they are kind of reworking clones little by little. They might be adding more clones for the clone faction so we can have more clone teams, because right now Shock T lead with Captain Rex being fast is the best composition for clones at the time being. It could also mean something regarding the ships. Clone Sergeant has his own ship. Maybe it means the Malevolence is coming in September because we have this Vulture droid, but no Separatist capital ship to really make any use out of it, and it just left the marquee packs the other day. It could also mean the light side territory battles is around the corner, as we kind of saw with Hoth. We had the light side territory battles, and about 3 months later, we are about 2 to 3 months later, then we got dark side territory battles. So it could very well be possible, because clones are probably going to be that staple faction needed for light side territory battles, that we're going to be seeing light side territory battles in September. I think that's a lot to jam pack in, because what I'm pretty certain is going to be happening is that epic confrontation event. If you guys remember a while ago, I gave you a breakdown on a huge Q&A the developers did, where they confirmed that they are currently working on an epic confrontation event similar to Malik. Epic confrontation is what they're branding the Malik events now, and that's going to be huge because epic confrontation events are going to be meta defining, and especially if the Darth Revan Darth Malik meta is getting, what is it now, about 5-6 months old in the game, and we just had Malik reappear, and Darth Revan's going to be reappearing for the third time. His event is coming back in about 2 weeks or so. The meta is probably bound to shift very, very soon, and this epic confrontation, I am pretty certain, is going to be happening sometime in September. We're going to take all those thoughts that the Clone Trooper login award could be bringing in right here, and here I want to bring up a story. Let me bring up a real story real quick. When bounty hunters were getting their incremental reworks over the year, last year, we started off with the original trilogy bounty hunters, and we got Bosk, and then we got reworks for Boba Fett, Dengar, and then later on we got reworks for the other characters such as Cad Bane, and people are like, what about Zam Wessel? You guys left out Zam Wessel, and the devs, they're not oblivious. They're not dumb. They purposely left Zam Wessel as the last unreworked bounty hunter to kind of give you a hint that they're not done just yet. And what came around about a week or two after those Clone Wars bounty hunter reworks? We got Jango Fett. And this is what I want to talk about right here, because yes, if you go on Reddit or the forums or my comments in the YouTube section or Discord or Facebook or Twitter or Tumblr, I don't know, maybe you guys are on Tinder talking about this stuff, everyone kept saying Ahsoka Tano got the 501st tag? Why didn't Anakin Skywalker? And that's why I talked about that Zam Wessel story a second ago, because this is probably one of those hints that Capital Games is trying to give you indirectly that is saying, we're not done with the 501st just yet. Let's pause on this moment right here and talk about why maybe they didn't add the 501st tag to the current Anakin Skywalker. So they could do something very well like what they did at Jango. It took them a year to add the Separatist tag to Jango. So it may be possible they're just stalling it out a bit until later on to slap on the 501st tag on the current Jedi Knight Anakin, because the 501st that we see Echo and whatnot, that's relating to the Clone Wars TV show. This Anakin Skywalker we're seeing right here, this is the episode 3 Revenge of the Sith Anakin. Even though it's not the Clone Wars era like General Kenobi is in the game right now, he still was in charge of the 501st Legion. He led the 501st into the Jedi Temple to slaughter and kill all the Jedi that were there. Those are lovely trigger words for the YouTube gods to listen to. So Anakin Skywalker, the current version we have, could very well be getting a 501st tag later, because they're just stalling it out again. They're teasing us. They're trying to let us know that they're not quite done with Anakin just yet. Another reason could be that Anakin Skywalker is already pretty darn good with the 501st and Shock Teen. It might be a balance thing. As I showed you, Anakin Skywalker with the 501st clones, they could do some work up against a Darth Revan and Darth Malak team, which is a really high threshold to be hitting. So it's possible that they didn't give him the 501st tag, because that would open up so maybe some sort of power issue. But seeing with Darth Revan and Darth Malak in the game, I honestly don't think their number one priority is protecting Darth Malak for being the number one meta. I'm pretty sure they're slowly trying to chip away at Darth Revan and Darth Malak to get us into the next meta of whatever it's going to be. Another reason could be maybe they just don't want Anakin to be pulled away from Padme, because Padme Amidala is his bae. This is where he works the best in, is with the Padme Amidala team. But that doesn't make much sense, because Ahsoka Tano works very well with Padme, and it's kind of a lot to ask for taking Ahsoka out of the Padme lineup. Sure, Ahsoka Tano's great with that 501st tag with the clones, but personally, after a lot of testing, I much prefer Ahsoka Tano inside of the Padme lineup, and I'd rather put Clone Sergeant in her place or Anakin Skywalker. I'm really trying to shoot high right now, so I don't really buy that argument as well, that they just don't want you pulling for other teams. I mean, that's your decision to make. Why did they give all these tags to C-3PO and R2-D2? It's like, oh, well, we don't want you pulling away from the Rebel faction or the Resistance faction. They don't care if they aligned with it in the Star Wars universe. Generally, very few instances in the game maybe are the exceptions. They don't hesitate by putting a tag on characters. I mean, the only thing I can really think of that comes to mind is probably the veteran Han and veteran Chewbacca. I think that was the one time Capital Games didn't want to give a tag, maybe for balance reasons, or maybe there's a philosophical debate whether Han and Chewie in The Force Awakens really was a part of the Resistance. Other than that, they've been pretty generous with giving tags the characters, and not they let you have the opportunity to decide if you want to have a character in one team or a character in another team. But what I think is really going to happen is this. Remember that Zam Wessel story? I don't need to reiterate right now. I'm thinking this is going to be a tease for something, and it might be in regards to the epic confrontation event that's supposed to be happening soon, and I'm very certain it's got to revolve around Anakin Skywalker. And I want to go back in history a little bit to talk about especially two legendary characters. The first legendary character I want to talk about right now, R2-D2. He came out in, what was it? Goodness gracious, 2016, 2017, something like that. And R2-D2 was a great character by himself, did some work. But what was it? About 3 months later, a Journey event came out, Commander Luke Skywalker, which then made more sense for R2-D2. And R2-D2 got supercharged into a whole other level with the release of Commander Luke Skywalker. Story number 2, BB-8. He was an okay character. Honestly, not as much viability as R2-D2 originally gave. He had some use and stuff like that. But what came around the corner? Jedi Training Rey. And Jedi Training Rey with BB-8 created a whole entire new meta. It was just like, just all the missing pieces were falling into place that made BB-8 made so much sense. Especially, like, for example, Roll with the Punches. It really didn't make a lot of sense before, but once you had Jedi Training Rey being able to call assist, it was like, oh man, this Zeta makes so much more sense now. And the point we're going to come back around to, that I've already said a couple of times, Padme Amidala. She's a good legendary character. Probably had more viability than BB-8 and R2-D2 when they originally came out. She already forms a pretty good team, but still, she's missing a few things to really get to that next level. And we're kind of getting around that 3-month mark. She was released in May. We're now in August. So this might seep over to September, but whatever this epic confrontation event is going to be, I'm fairly certain it's going to bring Padme to the next level. So that earlier legendary that you've been grinding for, and she just came back a second time, it's going to make a lot more sense. And she is probably going to be whatever it's going to be, leading us into the next meta for this game. What are the requirements? The requirements I'm really going to stretch right here. I can't guarantee this is going to be, but it makes the most sense. The 501st tag. It could be possible that these 501st characters are going to be needed, because an epic confrontation event requires, I mean, even the journey events, they require 5 characters. And here we already have 4. It could be possible Jedi Anakin will get his 501st tag. You'll have a full set of 5, and that'll be needed for the epic confrontation event. What it's going to unlock, hard to say. But my bets are going to be something revolving clones are going to be needed for this epic confrontation, or 501st. That is where my general idea is going. I don't know if Shaak Ti is going to be a part of it, because Shaak Ti didn't have much interaction with Anakin Skywalker. But seeing that she's been really the only marquee character that's pay to play. I mean, Geonosis and Brood Alpha, that was a free to play character that you didn't have to buy. She was the most recent character you had to buy from the packs, and she just became free to play. And Capital Games is generally known to push out some event very close to the release of some sort of marquee character, so that way you're kind of panic farming them, because people are panic farming this character right now because she just became free to play accessible over on the fleet battles. So I don't know where Shaak Ti's role is going to play. It could very well be just Shaak Ti and clones, and that could lead us to unlocking an Anakin Skywalker of some sort. And here's where we kind of diverge a bit. I'm actually leaning more towards one side than the other. One thing people are hoping for is a dark side Anakin, but I don't quite know if we have enough for a fallen Anakin. I feel like they need a lot more. And the 501st requirement for Anakin Skywalker, Ahsoka Tano had nothing to do with Anakin Skywalker. She was long gone. I mean, spoiler alert, she kind of left the Jedi Order right before Anakin fell to the dark side. I don't know if a fallen Anakin is going to be happening just yet. But what I'm thinking Anakin Skywalker, we could probably see, based on what we have right now, the 501st tag, who's in the 501st tag, who got reworks right now. It could be possible we see a general Anakin Skywalker, perhaps, which is going to be the Clone Wars era variant. So this might be what we get. It is slightly different from a skin perspective. This guy has, this Anakin has more armor on him, whereas the one in game, he's mainly wearing just his Jedi robes. So it could be possible this is the version of the next Anakin Skywalker we could get, because at least from an epic confrontation and what we have in the game right now, a light side Anakin makes more sense, because this light side Anakin will have a lot more synergy with Padme Amidala, versus a fallen Anakin probably would not have as much synergy with Padme, because obviously he kind of choked her to death. So that's what I'm thinking. A light side Anakin of some sort. Maybe it's a little redundant. I don't know. If we have General Kenobi, I could definitely see a General Anakin in place, perhaps, that's going to be leading the 501st into action. Point is, another Anakin could be very well possible. I'm not putting my opinion based on that screenshot I showed you earlier that alleged to have information about what's coming, but it makes logical sense, and especially when you read the tea leaves of Padme Amidala and how she's kind of fitting into the story of like BB-8 and R2-D2, seeing all these reworks and tags, and what was the most recent marquee character that was pay to play that just became free to play, and the devs saying epic confrontation is happening sometime soon. I'm thinking we're probably going to get maybe a General Anakin, which will set us up for light side territory battles and having another great team, because territory battles for Geonosis is very difficult, and the light side is still missing a lot of big Clone Wars era things to push us through. Unlike the Separatists are pretty solid right now for Geonosis territory battles. And that's where I'm going to wrap up my speculation for today for what is coming in September. I think it's going to be a busy month. Whether it's light side territory battles, I think Relics is happening next month, because they said on September 9th they're dropping support for a lot of iOS devices, because they have a big update coming that's going to accommodate new features and graphics. So Relics are going to be happening in September. Light side territory battles maybe, but I think the epic confrontation event that we've been told it's happening, I think it's going to be happening in September. So guys, let me know down below, what are your thoughts of what is going to be coming into the future? I would love to kind of get some other perspectives on this matter, because I definitely think something big is going to be happening, especially because the Darth Revan and Malik meta is getting stale, and they just had to come back for the second or third time now. So like if you did enjoy, comment down below your thoughts, be sure to subscribe so you're not missing a thing, and I'll talk to all the lovely people in the next video. Peace out, everyone.
Party Richter, Party Richter. Down, 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 down. Party Richter, Party Richter. Son of a bitch. Party Richter, Party Richter. Down, down, down.